started. And then the channel will go live right now. So hello everyone, and welcome to Adventure on so many levels. We are going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Woohoo!
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I am Christiana Ellis, and our players tonight, Jenny Meltzer as Zaylene.
You guys, I'm like super hot right now and I don't know what to do about it.
Starla Hutchton as Carolina Swift.
Hello, friends.
Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn.
Zaylene, I'll fan you with my wings.
Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry Shiny Rock.
I need a fireproof book to write down my dragon questions.
And returning, James Meltzer as Woota.
I have no witty greeting.
Well, you'll work on it. I believe it.
Catchphrase.
So, when last we left the Pocket Protectors, they had gotten themselves stuck on the elemental plane of fire, and then recruited by their new Azer allies, Azers being kind of like fire dwarves, they discovered that a red dragon, whom the Azers worked for, had been corrupted by the same sorts of nightmare creatures that you have been fighting across the plains so far, and you felt that you needed to step in and do something about it. In the process, you managed to get caught in a red dragon's treasure hoard, having just killed their most trusted advisor. But you were eventually, with some high rolls, able to persuade the dragon that you were actually there to help, not to steal. At which point, you were commanded to help. So we return now to the adventure already in progress, where everybody is still more or less cornered in the treasure room of Oneira, the red dragon's lair, as she has asked, "You must show me this magic item that you claim will help. I must inspect it before I will allow you to use it on me."
I hold up the pipe.
Do you allow her to take it? Because she's gonna.
Yes.
All right.
Try to stop her.
Well, we could try.
Well, it matters
But
whether you
it
make an
prob-
effort or not, right? Like if you
I'm
are
not
just
going
freely
to.
giving it,
Yeah.
there you go. So
I'm putting a shine on it. I'm starting to learn from Carolina that sometimes you got to put a shine on it.
indeed. So she, turns it over and over in her, much larger claws, inspecting it and looking at it, peering at it. I will allow you, if you like, to make an insight check of her inspection of this magic item.
I would like to do that.
I'm just watching to see if she uses magical.
Can anybody do one?
Sure.
$17.
So, is anyone else got one?
10.
10? So I think the two of you looking at her, who can know the mind of a dragon, right? What they've seen, what they've experienced. I mean, they live on a whole other plane than you. As she inspects this magical item, what insights she gleans from it are impossible for you to discern.
Okay.
But she eventually kind of snorts and smoke comes out of her nostrils, and she returns it to you and says, "Very well, let me prepare my salamander servants, and then we will perform the procedure."
Okay.
And at this
I feel like I
point,
need to scrub in.
Do we have time, like while she's doing this, can we take a short rest?
Well, you can ask her. Right now she is just kind of stalked off to one of the, the doors into this room, and she's snarling through one of the doorways in Draconic.
Mm. Well, if she's already gone, then I won't. I won't.
I mean, not far. She's still in the main chamber. She is just basically yelling out the door.
Your great dragonness. Do we have time to sit down and sort of recuperate before we do this?
Make a persuasion check. Well, I guess what she says is,
Yeah.
why is that necessary?
Well, you did kind of set my friend on fire, but 16.
Okay.
Just so we can prepare to make sure that we do this right, so that you're free from this taint.
Very well. An hour you shall have, but no longer.
Okay. Sweet.
So we get a short rest.
Yeah, that helps me.
Don't
Yeah.
know if it's going to help me or not, but I'm going to take it.
I get my spell slots back, so.
I will also use my Song of Rest thingy.
Oh, you need healing, don't you?
Well, I'm not too bad. I could be worse. I'm only down math 8.
Okay. Well, if you're gonna do Song of Rest, don't you get to add that to any hit dice that you roll?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right then.
Looking for it. Let's see, an extra 1d8 if you're spending hit dice.
I am not.
I am going to. I may as well spend one.
All right. So, are you still hiding out in that little area? Here, I'll bring us over to the map here.
No, sir. Like, I moved out into this open chamber because that fire claustrophobia was frightening.
Sure. What are you doing with Buster?
I'm gonna bring him. I'm gonna call him to my side.
Okay. I think he is. He's following you around, but he's panting a lot, and you see him occasionally like picking up his feet, like doesn't like that it's hot.
All right, we gotta.
Oh, no, not in front of the volume.
You've also got the body of this thing. Did I describe the body of the Whisperer disintegrating or anything? I don't think I
No,
did.
I don't
It was
think
there.
so.
No, it wasn't disintegrating yet.
Right.
Like, it was still just a dead body.
Yeah. So I think if you took any time to sort of look it over, you could perhaps do some sort of like medical forensic type investigation if you wanted, but it is not like carrying anything like clothing or items.
Would that be like a survival check or like?
I mean, I guess it would depend on what you want to know about it. What are you hoping to glean from your investigation?
Well, like, is it? I would want to compare it to like the last storm that we faced.
Mhm.
How those gross goopy things falling from the sky disintegrated before we could really capture them and see if it's the same.
Okay. Go ahead and make. I guess I'll let it be either medicine or investigation.
I think at the same time, Nedry would be over the body using ritually casting detect magic because he really wants to understand the magic of these creatures.
Okay.
And get
Dirty
any
20.
All right.
on that.
So I think that what you glean, Zaleen, from your investigation, there's a lot of just like anatomy that's unusual, and it's hard to really know what to make of that without having really done this kind of work before. But there's a smell to it that is kind of uniquely unlike anything else you have experienced, with the exception of all those little, squid things that came out of the storm. They have a similar odor profile.
Okay. I will relay that to Nedry and see, what he thinks about it.
All right. And Nedry, I think that your detect magic. Um, Remind me what it can see through, like metal, like how much metal is required to block it.
Let's see. 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or
Okay,
dirt.
so you suspect, having been told that there were magic items inside that safe, you can nonetheless not see any auras through the outside. So it must be at least thick enough to block that spell. For the creature itself, the magic, like kind of surrounding it, embodying it, is fading pretty quickly. Like even as you it's already pretty weak, but that's somewhat to be expected as it's dead now and is no longer has this magic energy like animating it.
I would also like to do a medicine check on it
Okay.
to see if I can figure out like where its weak points might be.
Okay.
22.
All right. So one thing that I'm going to mention here, without necessarily penalizing you, is that some of this stuff is stuff that really would not be compatible with getting a short rest. Right?
Okay.
Doing a dissection of a weird monster, for example, in an unusual location where you're really hot, right? Like, how much rest are you getting during that time, right? But I won't, in this sense, mechanically deprive you of the short rest, but just that we need to imagine these activities that we're describing now as abbreviated.
Okay.
But so with a 22, that's still pretty good. And I think what you discover looking at it is that it's got a pretty tough hide. Hang on. Let me pull up the stats that I didn't think I would need for the creature that was dead. It looks like, just based on its hide and sort of the residue of it and based on your own experience of it, it seems like it would have pretty substantial elemental resistances, like perhaps to fire, cold, lightning, all of that stuff. It has big eyes of a type that you suspect it might have dark vision to it. The claws are notable because it looks like the claws actually have a little bit of a hollow channel in them, almost like a snake fang, suggesting that the claws, if they were to find purchase in flesh, might be able to inject something.
Okay. And I'm going to relay this all to Nedry to put in his book.
Do you think it would be worth taking it with us? It is further proof, and this one's less likely to vanish on us.
I think that we would have to ask permit. We would probably need permission. I wouldn't just take it.
That is a good point. Can you hold this for a moment, Zin? Don't put your hand in.
And he'll hand him the bag.
I hold it from the bottom or from the edges.
Nedry will dive in to take some notes
Okay.
because he's kept the book in the bag because he doesn't trust it out here.
All right. So to be sure, you no longer have Tanglefoot prisoner in the one cage, but otherwise the bag is unchanged inside.
Okay. And he'll just sit at the table taking notes for the next half hour or so.
Okay. So as you are getting towards the end of this hour, those of you who can see her are probably starting to pick up on some subtle and increasingly less subtle signs of impatience in Oneira. She has clearly ordered her salamander attendants to stand guard at each of the doorways to this chamber, not including the ones that are lead to dead ends, like the room you were initially cornered in, but all of the other exterior exits. Although one thing you have noted, spending a little bit more time in here, where you're not fighting for your life, is that the very high ceiling looks as though it might actually have a like a vertical exit, like the dragon could fly out that way. But
Okay.
yeah, so as you start to kind of come along out, uh, hey Paul, if you don't mind, I would ask you if you can run Buster.
I was just about to ask you to give me control of Buster.
I will do that right now. There you go. So you have the token. So if you can pull up Buster's stats and run him, uh, that would be great. It would save me some trouble.
Oh, that's a good sign.
Well, you know what you're
Uh,
about to do, right? Like I'm not gonna mess
Yep.
around
I
trying
don't
to
know that I
pretend.
have
You know,
Buster's stats.
They're probably in D&D Beyond.
Gray
like
Render
weapons
is
were-
what he is. So he's
Okay.
not got his like. It's not by name. It's just he's a Gray Render.
Okay.
But as you sort of collect, Oneira says, "My salamanders have been ordered not to interfere, but if it looks as though you are taking advantage of me, they are watching." So how does this ritual work? What will happen?
I will smoke the pipe, and when I'm ready, I will blow the smoke at you. And when you breathe it in, it will pull you into the pipe. You will be in a maze, and your nightmare will chase after you. And what you
So,
need to
wait,
do is get.
so that happened when you attuned to the pipe,
Oh,
but
okay.
it was not necessary when, so when you were using the pipe on someone else, they didn't have to go through the maze.
Oh, okay. All right. So, when she breathes it in,
Yeah,
this is me
that
being
will draw
meta.
it out, but
It will draw it out. It will attack her.
well, not only will it attack her, but it also does damage coming out. That
Okay.
is proportional to how long it's
It's-
been in there and how much corruption it had imbued already. And just looking at her, she must have considerably more than any of you did when you did this.
Okay.
Gonna be
Uh,
hard.
So, when you breathe the smoke in, the nightmare will come out of you. This will hurt you, and it will try to attack you. We will defend you. We will attack it, and I will heal you, and we will kill it. It's done a lot of damage to you. It's going to be very powerful, but you are also very powerful, and with our aid, I'm sure we will prevail. But we will put our lives on the line to save yours.
There's some moody staring and a couple of smoky snorts at, you know, nothing obvious to you. But eventually she says, "Very well then, I am ready."
All right. And I will smoke the
Maybe
pipe.
we should spread out and get into position.
Oh, that's
This
probably a
time
good
what's going to
idea.
happen?
Um,
And Nedry is going to, let's see, just checking on targets.
Can I cast Mage Armor on myself now?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm-
that would be entirely appropriate.
I am
So
going to
Nedry would
cast.
gather together. Muta has wings, right?
Yes.
In fact, you've already flown. So we'd gather together Carolina and Zaleen.
Hold my arm.
And just extends his arm, and then traces a loop around them with his pen, and kind of sketches in wings around all of them, and kind of blindly does it for himself. He'll cast fly on all three of us.
That should help in case the lava becomes a problem, which it probably will.
That's his fifth level.
I am gonna cast aid at 3rd level, and I can affect 3 of my allies. So Zaleen, Nedry, and Carolina, you will all get 10 hit points.
Are they temporary, or are they?
Uh,
Is it like a temporary increase?
it increases your hit point maximum and your current hit points. It's for the duration of the spell, which is 8 hours. You have 10 more
Okay.
hit points. So
Okay.
they're not temporary. They don't go away.
Yeah.
When,
They can be
when you
healed
lose
back
them.
if you lose them.
Yep.
Yeah. But, okay, so.
Can I? I'm going to stay. How high are the ceilings here?
So, like I said, there's a bit of a chimney that you think
Okay.
is big enough for, like, you wouldn't be able. So, Oneira the dragon would not be able to just fly right through it, but could
Right.
fly up to an opening that she could crawl through, and you suspect is further open. Excuse me, to
Right.
the sky. But most of the cavern, the ceilings would probably be in the neighborhood of 30 to 40 feet.
Okay, so can I? I'm going to like stay where I am on the map, but can I be like 25 feet in the air?
Uh, Yes, although what we need to just make sure that we're establishing is that you can fly like with wings, but that doesn't mean you can hover.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, I'll just stay on the ground then.
Okay. I mean, you could sort of have flown up to a little perch or something.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll fly to a perch.
All right. What height do you think you're at?
Like 25 feet.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm going to use one of the little tokens here to indicate that.
Okay.
Okay. And so at
I'm
this
also.
point, yeah, go ahead.
I was also going to touch Carolina and give her resistance
Okay.
for saving throws against fire.
Why is everybody so paranoid?
Because you were like crispy.
Well, this thing was pretty scary.
She shakes out her hair,
Yeah.
and the burnt ends like just kind of.
I think actually that like there's one little spot that you realize like it seems like it's like, oh shoot, no, that part's actually burned. You know, yeah, you have to sort of shed the actual burned mass off because that part won't change. You have to like comb it out. Anyway, as you are all prepared now, Zinhorn can bring the process of the pipe to bear.
Yep.
But I think let's go ahead and get some initiative rolls on the board.
Okay.
Also, did Carolina and Zaleen, having been given the ability to fly by Nedry, want to be in the air at all, or no?
No, I'm staying on the ground for now.
Okay. Okay, everyone let me know when you've got all your initiative updated. Because it still had old rules in there and I don't remember what they were, so I don't know if they changed.
Mine's updated.
Okay.
All right. Mine is a 19.
Mine's updated. Nedry will be kind of hovering with fly
Okay.
off the ground.
All right.
And I'm going
If
to
you
roll
wanna-
again.
Everyone, so if you click on your token and there's the little blue circle, if you want to be in the air, put your height in that circle, just so we can keep track.
All right. I'm
All right.
rolling for Buster.
So the way we're going to do this is that Zinhorn will begin the pipe smoke thing, but that takes a little bit, right? You know, it has to
Yeah.
the dragon has to breathe it in, etc. So we're not officially in initiative during that. I just wanted us to go ahead and get the rolls out of the way.
Okay.
All right. Has everyone got their initiatives in the appropriate order?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
so with that, Zinhorn, Oneira awaits.
Okay. I get the pipe going and blow the smoke at her and tell her to inhale the smoke.
Okay. She peers at it sort of suspiciously for a moment and then breathes it in. And for just a moment, she kind of cocks her head thoughtfully, feeling it, and then kind of droops almost like she's falling asleep, and then kind of actually starts to spasm and like twitch, and basically collapses like to the ground, having like a seizure. And pretty soon, as she is lying down, kind of, thrashing around a little bit, uh, this viscous dark smoke that is familiar begins to pour out of her mouth, and it keeps coming, and it keeps coming. It is making a tremendous shape. It exceeds her own size before it begins to solidify into a shape that in some respects looks almost, you could almost say it looks like a little bit of a gorilla, but as it begins to take form, it looks not like an organic creature, but like a creature that has been formed out of the material of her lair. Like it is made of stone and weird little bits of treasure here and there and little bits of glowy lava, as though it has been assembled from various parts of her lair, and it rears up on its shorter rear legs and beats its chest and roars with enormous spiky stalactite and stalagmite teeth. And now, Carolina, guess what? You were the only person to beat it in initiative. So, what would you like to do?
God. Okay, it's really big. Oh, I don't know that anything that is gonna work on it. So it's not like what is the like? Is it shaped like a dragon?
No, it's shaped like more like a gorilla, but made of
Okay.
stone and bits and weird absorbed mass.
Okay, so I'll cast Phantasmal Killer on it.
Okay.
That is a Wisdom saving throw of 16.
Okay. Oh wow! It fails. It got a 15.
Yes.
So what
Okay.
does that do?
It takes 4d10 psychic damage.
Okay.
It becomes frightened for the duration, which is up to a minute concentration.
Uh-huh. Frightened, you say?
26.
You know what? I think you feel your spell take hold, and then all of a sudden, the creature shakes it off,
What the heck?
almost as though it has a legendary capability to resist a spell that would have otherwise affected it.
So it is not frightened, and it did not take damage.
Does it take damage even on a successful save, or like half?
Oh, no. Hold on. Let me see. Let's see.
We're getting a little bit of electrical
Does-
noise from someone's microphone, I think.
On a successful save, the spell ends.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I mean, that sounds like following turns, so. No? Okay.
Because it
Okay.
does nothing. It
All
just
right.
says on a successful save, the spell ends. So
Okay,
It doesn't
but
say,
that
like,
is
under
probably at
damage.
the end when it's talking about their ability
It's
to repeat the saving throw on subsequent turns.
it's at the end of each of the target's turns before the
Yes,
spell
okay,
ends.
but before that, when it first makes the throw, when it's saying how much damage.
Yeah, I'm looking and I don't see anything about half damage.
Okay,
It
all right.
says-
Well, that's what I
yeah.
was just saying. It's gonna have.
It says on a failed save, the target becomes frightened at the end of each of its turns. Before it
Okay,
ends, the
all right.
target must succeed. Yeah.
Okay, that I was just trying to confirm because I'm trying to help you out
Okay.
and be nice and give you the opportunity to discover if it does damage, but it doesn't. So never mind. All right. So yes, you have discovered that it was able to shrug off the effect of that particular spell.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, and at this time, you see it rear back and just start wailing on Oneira's, apparently still seizing body, just pounding on it with fists, just and I mean, Oneira seems to be incapacitated. It is automatically critting, and you watch as each of its like strikes hit Oneira. It's burning Oneira like acid, like the flesh is like melting away, and you see red dragon scales sort of like traveling up this monstrosity's hands. And so the monster does its turn worth of attacks, beating the crap out of the apparently unconscious Oneira, or at least incapacitated, still breathing apparently, but pretty beat up. And then, having finished a round of attacks, this creature sort of just hunches and does a little bit of a suspicious peer around at the rest of you, and various bits of its internal workings kind of start to glow. Zinhorn, you're up.
I am going to do Channel Divinity,
Okay.
and I am going to heal Oneira.
Okay.
Uh, hold on. So, what was that? Oh, lovely. It didn't say anything. Give me a sec to read how
Okay.
many hit points she gets back.
All right. So yeah, let's try to keep it moving. I mean, I know,
Okay.
but yeah.
I mean, okay. So, uh, it's not. I don't see the point where it heals.
Okay. I
Um,
mean,
I gotta find that because it's like everything got moved.
okay. So I mean, yeah. Try.
Yeah.
Let's try to find it out. But yeah, let's.
45
Okay.
hit
All right.
points.
Okay. So there you go.
So
So
she-
yeah, you do that, and you definitely see, Oneira's flesh begin to heal. Although certainly she looks better and in less danger of imminent death, but still seems to be lost in some kind of a almost like a seizure, or perhaps a little bit like when someone or even an animal is dreaming and they're kind of twitching as though they are experiencing something in a dream. But she does still to appear to not be awake.
Okay. That is my action.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cast. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna cast Spiritual Weapon and attack
Okay.
the dude. And I'm gonna do that at 4th level.
Okay. Where's the?
9.
Is it going on there? There we go.
5th level. Sorry, 5th level.
Okay. A 9 to hit, obviously. Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay.
Does not.
Yep. I
Okay,
doubt
there's
it.
there's your token there. Let's put it right there, maybe.
Okay.
Okay. So that makes it the salamander's turn now, and they seem to be utterly unprepared for this level of assault because they were told not to interfere, and yet a giant thing is attacking their mistress. So they are kind of like hedging forward uncertainly. I think that they are all readying an action to attack the creature if it attacks Oneira again. All right. It is Buster's turn.
Okay. Buster is going to go claw bite.
All right.
So I will roll 2 claws first.
Mm-hmm.
And he rolled a 16 and a 19.
The 16 misses. The 19 hits.
Those are both +8.
Oh, well, okay. Tell me the final number. Don't tell me the die roll. That doesn't do anything for me.
Okay, I'm used to it doing stuff, so.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
All
just
right. Okay, so 16 plus 8 is
yeah. I mean,
24.
so yeah, those will both hit then.
Okay. So each of those do 2d8 plus 4. So that is 13 plus 8 is 21 points of damage.
Okay. In the process of doing those 2 attacks, Buster also finds that touching this thing burns his claws like acid, and he takes 13 acid damage as a result of making those attacks.
Okay.
Now, he has a trait that allows him to make an extra attack with his reaction when he takes damage, so he can do that, and I think you still have a bite attack if he would use it. But I think after clawing, you know what? Buster is exactly the sort of monster that would keep attacking it even when it discovers that attacking it hurts him.
Yep. So how much damage did that do?
13. Well, no, are you asking me how much his Buster's attacks
Is
did?
that, yeah.
Okay. You,
I'm trying to track it. And
okay. All right, so I believe you said, I want to say 18. I'm sorry.
No, I'm trying to track how much damage Buster has taken.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's what I was asking you. He took 13 acid damage.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And he is going to use his bite attack. He got a 16.
Okay. He is going to need to make a dexterity saving throw.
All right. He got an 18.
Okay, so as Buster continues trying to attack this thing, you see the creature's flesh starts trying to like extend around Buster's head. And Buster is able to sort of pull back and shake away and not be drawn into it, but it looked like it was trying to absorb him. And not only, so the initial claw attacks did some damage, but it looks like he's the thing is regenerating. And Buster does take another 7 acid damage. But he still has his reaction attack. And then, let's see. So it's 11. Whoops. Okay, you with us, Paul?
I'm just trying to figure out where I'm looking for where his reaction attack is.
Okay, it's the bloody rampage or something.
Oh,
The
okay.
very last thing.
It's a claw attack that he makes.
Oh, okay. So he gets a claw attack. Okay, so he rolled a 15.
Okay, so
That
yeah,
will not
15 does not hit.
Okay.
So yeah, this thing has took some damage, but also started to regenerate, and at one point tried to like pull Buster into itself, and failed, but tried. And so then, yeah, and so and then that makes it now Wuta, your turn.
All right. Wuta is going to just kind of. How do you do that thing where you discover how far away you are from it?
There's the little symbol that looks like a circle with sort of a Q on its side.
Right.
You
Oh,
can-
okay. I gotcha. Okay. I'm going to fly off my perch.
Mhm.
I'm going to just fly kind of over here in the middle, and then I'm going to cast Water Whip. I'm going to spend
Okay.
2 key points to cast Water Whip. So it has to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. It got pretty low. That's a 9.
Okay, so that fails. So it's going to take 3d10 damage. And I don't know if I can or not, but I'm going to try and knock it prone.
Does your ability say anything about size of a creature?
It does not. It just says
It probably has a saving throw that it gets to make.
no. It says creature.
Oh
takes,
well, I guess it
3d10.
did make the saving throw.
Right,
Okay.
right. It didn't make the saving throw, so I can either knock it prone or pull it 25 feet closer to me.
Okay.
It says on a successful save, the creature takes half damage, and you don't pull it or knock it prone.
Okay.
So-
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. So it was off balance, and you lash out with this water whip, and you do what? Roll your
19 damage.
19. That's pretty good for a 3d10 roll.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then as my bonus action, I'm going to spend another key point and cast Patient Defense on myself.
Okay. And you sort of knocked it prone. You pulled out one of its legs out from under it, and it kind of tumbled over onto its side.
Whoosh.
Yeah.
That's my turn.
It is going to use a legendary action to stand back up,
Okay.
but that's it.
All right.
Okay. It would be Oneira's turn, but she still seems to be incapacitated for the moment. Nedry.
Okay. Oh boy, that's a lot bigger. He will look at Oneira and in sort of free action speak in her mind. Relax. This might feel a little bit weird. I'm just putting you in a better place. And he's going to draw out his pen, circle Oneira in his vision, and drag her across. Drag the vision across and cast Vortex Whip to place her, or Vortex Warp, I should say. Not
Does
whip.
that work
would be
on a
me.
huge creature?
It has no size limitation. It just
Really?
is a creature.
That's
Yeah, I know.
fascinating. I will
Does
take your
too.
word for it for now. That's bonkers,
If-
though. No, I mean, we'll do it. We'll do it. I'm surprised is all. Okay, cool. So where are you putting her?
Right about here.
Well, so okay. I mean, that spot is kind of like that's cave wall, but you
Oh,
could put her in
sorry.
the corner there like that.
Very dark, so I didn't realize that was wall.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be basically there. Yeah, the lava would be good actually, since
Yeah.
she seems to like. So yeah,
Certainly,
help her.
even if you just sort of teleport her to just above the surface and then let go, she would kind of drop and sink in, which you know to be fine for her.
right. Yeah. Yeah, it must be on the surface or in a liquid that can support the target without the target having to squeeze. So yeah, actually that works.
All right,
It's
great.
her. There you go. Done.
Nice.
Oh,
Uh,
he will move
mhm.
because I can fly, and that's
Yeah.
a lot faster. It's not like running. And let's see. No, I don't want to go near those guys. Oops. Back up. Silly thing. All right, well, he'll go there first, and then over here. There you go. Fine, done. Keep going.
All right, great. So, Zaleen, you are next.
First, I'm going to cast Hexblade's Curse on it,
Okay.
and then I'm going to cast Bane.
Bane.
So it has to make a Wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
13 is my DC.
It is rolling with advantage and with a high modifier and rolling really low. But let's see. Yeah, no, it fails.
Nice. So now it has to
It's Bane, right? So it
subtract
subtracts a
the
D4.
D4.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, from attack rolls or saving throws.
All right. Yeah, great. Success in that regard.
What?
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna fly over here a little bit further away.
Okay. Someone's microphone is still making kind of like an electric noise every so often. I think it might be when you're turning mute on and off, Paul.
It's possible. I, yeah, I've got a little mute clip.
Okay. Yeah, we're hearing a noise every time you do that.
Okay.
Like not
I
a
will
beep, but
find
like
it.
a rustle sort of buzz.
Okay. I will
You can try
find-
to just hit the mute button on Discord or the Zoom, and it should be better.
I will do that.
Okay, thank you. All right, so were you moving or doing anything, Zeline, or you?
I did. I
Okay.
moved already. I just
Great.
moved up a little bit.
All right, cool. So that makes the Azer's turn. You don't know where any of them are. You don't know what they're doing. You also didn't check in on your friendly ones in the tower. But that's all right. Carolina, you are up. After the creature, it will be you again, Zinhorn. So, Carolina, what are you doing?
Is it still all lit up like it was gonna do something, or it's
No,
fell over,
it
right?
after Buster attacked it, that glow stopped.
Okay. Then I'm gonna try. I'm going to. It's probably not gonna work, but I'm gonna cast Shatter
Okay.
on it. It's a 10-foot radius sphere centered on the center of it.
Sure. All right. What saving throw does it make?
Constitution 16.
Okay. Yeah,
I feel
it's
like
gonna.
it's probably good at these.
Yeah, it's gonna succeed on that one. It gets a 27.
Half damage though.
Okay.
16, so 8. Did I hit
Okay.
it? Did I hit it?
Yeah, I mean, you did 8 damage to it. Yeah, it sort of the shockwave shatters out, and you can see that it actually does a lot of the various inorganic components of this thing's body do seem to sort of react to the concussion of it, but it does not like. It takes the damage. I don't want to overstate that, but you realize to some extent the appearance of the inorganic matter is almost like metaphorical rather than literal in that regard. Meaning it does not seem to have the vulnerability that like a stone creature would, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But you did hurt it though. It didn't,
Okay.
avoid the damage.
And
Okay.
then bonus action, I would like to actually give bardic inspiration to the sleeping dragon there.
Okay.
Where'd it go?
Let's do Yala for that instead.
Let's see. I don't think it wants her shaman. It doesn't really care. Okay. Through hope and fear, we have beat back the darkness. A legion of heroes of legend are we. So now it's got a 1d8. Yes. Bardic inspiration die if any saves it needs to. She needs to make.
Deep within Oneira's nightmare, she suddenly realizes that she's hearing a song about the hated heroes of legend who slayed her god Dracarys.
Didn't really. Well. But
Anyway.
yeah. So I'm also going to move. I'm gonna fly up over this way. Let's see.
All right.
Got 1, 2, 3. And that is a wall. Okay. Oh, there's this little room here, right? I'm gonna go
Yep.
in there.
Okay. Make a dexterity saving throw. That's pretty good. So when you set off the magical glyph trap that's protecting the other treasure room,
Oh no.
yeah. Yeah, let's see. You're going to take. Let's roll this. You're going to take 8 thunder damage from the detonation. Although you have a little bit of a notice when your ears are ringing, but you glance over that there looks like Oneira's form shifted a little bit, like sensing the triggering of one of her treasure traps.
So it was an alarm clock.
Okay, so it is now the creature's turn, and it is going to come up here, and it is going to do a slam attack on Buster, and a slam attack on Wuta, and a bite attack on Zinhorn. It does still have Bane on it. So let's see. First, well, hang on. I have to roll to see if it gets its absorption back. You don't know if it did or not. Wow. I'm going to switch die here in a minute. It misses against Buster. Wow, what the hell? Misses against Zinhorn. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Oh, wait, hang on. I should figure into it. So, what's your AC, Zinhorn?
My AC is an 18.
Okay, so it does miss you. What's Buster's?
19.
Okay, yeah, so both of those do still miss. And then against Wuta.
At disadvantage because he's got the patient defense up.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
okay.
He also has Bane too.
Well, no, I'm rolling the Bane. I'm factoring that
Okay.
in. But if with patient defense though, it's disadvantage too. So. Okay. So that first one, that's a 17 to hit. With the disadvantage in the Bane.
Yeah, that hits.
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna take.
Well, patient defense gives me the dodge action, so I take half damage of whatever this is.
No,
right?
no. What the dodge is, that's why it was disadvantage against you.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to be 9 bludgeoning damage plus 7 acid damage for that hit.
Okay. All right.
And as you notice, it's hit against you where it strikes you. That acid, rather than just lingering and sort of burning, it's literally like it draws that mass away from you and heals itself with it.
Gotcha.
All right. And then, and that is its turn. Zinhorn, you're up.
Okay. I am going to use my lightning breath
Okay.
as my action, and it needs to make a Dex saving throw with a DC of 14.
Okay. Does Bane affect saving throws? Um,
Yep.
that's still going to succeed. Yeah, that's yeah. So it's still got a 21 even with Bane.
Okay, so it takes half damage on
Okay.
3d8. So it takes 5 points of damage.
Okay.
And I will, for my bonus action, I will use my spiritual weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And that rolled a 19.
Okay. Yeah. So that 19 hits.
Okay. And that will do 8 points of damage. No, that's not right. Hold on. That's not right. Because I cast that.
At a higher level.
Yeah, I cast that at. Okay, so I need one more d8 on that. So that was 8
Mm-hmm.
plus 8, 16 points of damage.
All right. Okay. Does it get to save against Bane at the end of its turn?
No.
No.
It's just until I lose concentration.
Really? All
I
right.
don't think so.
Mm,
Yeah, it's because it has concentration added that usually they don't have both.
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. So that makes it. I think it's going to use a legendary action to make another slam attack against Buster. That one's going to hit. Oh, well, hang on. Yes, it is going to hit. And it's doing. Oops. 12 bludgeoning damage and 13 acid damage. So 25 total. And once again, it seems to regenerate a little bit. As it is creating these sort of acid burns on Buster's flesh, as though it's, instead of burning it away chemically, it's pulling the material into itself. Okay, that was a legendary action. It is the salamander's turn, and they are rushing to the aid of their mistress, calling to ask if she's okay. Like they're sort of trying to rouse, wake her. Now it is Buster's turn.
Okay. Buster is going to do claw bite.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a 23 and a 19.
Okay. The 23. Yeah, both of those hit.
Okay. And he will do 29 points of damage.
Are you? Let's see. How is? Okay. Yeah. Wait. 29. Wow. What math is that?
It says 2d8 plus 4.
Okay, but
And I got 2 of those, so that's 4d8 plus 8.
okay. Okay. All right. All right. Buster takes
Oh,
11 acid damage as a result.
oh,
What?
okay. Apparently he also does 2d6 of bludgeoning damage on top of
Not
that.
prone.
No, if
Oh, if
the
the target
target
is
is
prone.
prone. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Buster took 11.
Yeah. And he should still have his bite, and again, he gets it by taking damage. He gets to make another attack,
All right, so
so he still
we'll
has
do the.
another claw and another bite, or and
Okay.
not another bite, but the first bite.
Okay, so we'll do the claw first.
Okay.
And that's a 17.
Okay.
That's not going to hit, right?
17 does not hit.
Okay. And we'll do
Although
the bite.
that looks like it's a 17 on the d20 though, without his modifier. So
I thought I read an 11 and was adding.
I
Oh, that's a 25. I'm sorry.
okay.
All right, so 2d8 plus 4. 10 points of damage.
Okay. He's going to take another 8 points of acid damage. And the bite.
And the bite is going to be a 19.
Okay, and 19 just hits.
Okay, and that's 2d12. 2d12 plus 4.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 15 points of damage.
Okay. And Buster will take another 3 points of acid damage. So Buster's doing a lot of damage, but I think all of you are watching also as he is just getting burned up by the contact with this creature.
Yeah,
Poor
Buster's going to
Buster.
have to withdraw soon.
And in fact, with a legendary action, it is going to make another slam attack against Buster. But it's going to miss because I am going to switch from that die because that has rolled sub 7 for like all but 3 rolls tonight.
I see no problem with this.
Well, I do, so it's going to be a different
Cast
d20
counter
now.
spell and changing the dice.
Anyway, so it misses with that legendary attack. So never mind. Which makes it your turn, Wuta.
All right, Wuta is going to once again try Water Whip, so it's got to make a dex saving throw.
Okay. It will. That's gonna be. Yeah, that's gonna succeed. That's a 25.
Okay, that succeeds. So it still takes half damage. Half of 26, so 13 points of damage.
Nice.
And let's see, key points are getting low, but I'm going to spend another key point. What's the reach on this thing?
10 feet.
10 feet? Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. I am.
But bear
going
in mind
to-
that it is also like 10 feet tall.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I'm going to spend another key point to cast Disengage.
Okay.
And fly whoosh, over here in front of the pool of lava. And that's my turn.
Okay. So at this point, it is Oneira who is beginning to stir, but looks weak. Like she looks like disoriented, but kind of blinking her eyes awake. Okay, Nedry.
Okay. He'll be glancing aside to the slightly stirring Oneira and send a thought her way. Oh, we could really use your powerful help right about now. I hope you can find your way out of your dreams. And then trace a snowflake with the end of his pen and cast Ray of Frost at the creature.
Okay.
Which I think we've named this one. Let's see. That is a 12 to hit. So
12
that's
won't hit, unfortunately.
okay.
Okay. Zaleen.
Bonus action, maddening hex, so he automatically takes 3 psychic damage.
Okay.
And then I'm going to fly along the wall over down here, and I'm going to cast Healing Word at level 2 on Carolina.
Alright.
So that's 7 points of healing for you.
Okay. Carolina, it is your turn.
Okay, so everybody is so worried about me. I'll be okay. It's fine. We're all fine. It's okay. And again, you will hear her sing, but it's weird. That same way that it was the last time she cast animate objects. And I am going to conjure, let's see, those count as 2. So I'm going to do 5 medium.
Bear in mind, you're not conjuring them. They have to be items in your vicinity.
Right.
In your, yeah.
So, like, we're in this cavern, so I'm assuming there's, like, rock structures, like, in the wall, right? That.
Okay, but, like, if they're in the wall, they're not going to be able to just fly away.
You know what? Could it be used on the lava? Like, create, like, humanoid
That's
lava
not,
shapes?
no, that's not what it does. I mean, it has to be an object.
What about the little gold pieces that are like laying next to
Yeah,
the
I mean,
gold
you could
fountain?
grab some treasure bits, but those would probably be, like,
They'll be
small or
tiny
tiny.
ones.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
this is weird, but there are 2 fairly largest bridges there.
No, I mean, those are affixed to the ground. Like, if something is, like,
no.
bricked into a wall, it, even if it's animated, it can't get out of where it's attached.
What about the dead guy?
It's fine. I'll do something else, I guess.
Totally tangentially, something is literally, like, vibrating my floor right now. Like, there's something shaking the whole building right now. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's distracting.
Yeah, kaiju attack.
Aliens.
We'll just try. You know what? I will throw Mind Sliver at it and see what happens.
Okay. I mean, mine. So, I'm not trying to talk you out of animate objects. Just that.
There's
needs...
nothing to animate, so it's fine.
Okay.
I'm just like, let's move along.
All right.
It's fine.
So, Mind Sliver, it does a saving throw, correct?
Yes, intelligence 16.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, that's -2. Is that so? 16? Got just 16?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Oh,
So it got 16.
Okay, so it just met it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good thing that's a cantrip. Okay.
Okay.
And I am going to throw a healing word just first level at Oneira. 4.
Okay.
Because she does not look good. She might be fine, but I'll give her 7. Well, she did get hit several times,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, she was looking pretty bad for a while, but certainly, I think you can see that although she's still disoriented, she does not seem meaningfully injured at this point. Okay. But it is the creature's turn again now, and it's pretty obvious to it what is doing it the most damage, so it's going to continue to just wail on Buster. It's going to first attack. Yeah, that's a little better. That's going to be 28 to hit for 9 bludgeoning damage and 15 acid damage.
So it's 24 total.
Yeah. And once again, it regenerates a little bit. Second attack, still with Bane. Oh, that's cocked. See, the big one doesn't get cocked, but the little one, it rolls better dice numbers. 18, which I think you said his DC is.
His AC is 19.
Okay, yeah, so that one misses. And then the bite, that's going to be, just 19, so that one will hit.
Okay.
And that's going to do 9 piercing damage and 13 acid damage. And once again, it regenerates a little bit. And then it's going to go ahead and use a legendary action to do another one. Which is going to be 26 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. 4 plus 5. So 9 slashing damage, 12 acid damage.
So 21.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm. So, now it's your turn, Zinhorn.
Okay.
Buster definitely seems to have its focus at the moment.
Zinhorn is going to cast Cure Wounds at 4th level on Buster.
Okay.
And Buster will get 26 points back. And Zinhorn will use his bonus action with his spiritual weapon to attack the big guy. And he gets a 19 to hit.
Okay, 19 hits.
Okay, and that's 2d8. Hold on a sec. There it is. 13 points of damage.
Okay. As it clunks this thing, which you guys have definitely heard it. It's beat up a fair amount, but it also, every time it hits something, it recovers a bit. Okay, is that the end of your turn, Zinhorn?
That is the end of my turn. Yes.
Okay. All right. So it is the salamander's turn. They are helping to steady Oneira, who seems to be, sort of righting herself and getting sort of, turned around to face all of this. Here's the thing. I'm gonna say that, like, who feels like they would be close enough to and paying attention to Oneira to notice much about what she's doing?
Nedger's keeping a bit of an eye on her.
Okay.
I think I would be too.
Yeah. Okay. I will give you each an opportunity to make an insight check. Oh no.
Nope.
Okay. You have no idea what's about to happen.
Okay.
But it is Buster's turn. Buster's turn?
Sorry, I was reaching for the mute button.
Okay,
It's
no
in a
problem.
different place.
Yeah.
Buster's turn. Claw, bite. Yeah, I think he can survive one more. So he gets. I'm going to roll these separately this time to avoid confusion. So claw number 1. That is a miss. Claw number 2 is a natural 20.
Nice.
So that is 2d8 plus 4. How do I roll that since it's a crit?
Hold on just a moment. I just got a weird error. I'm getting an error message from XSplit. I want to make sure that the channel is still going.
Okay.
So what was the question? What was your question, Paul?
How do I roll the crit?
You just roll double the number of dice. So if it would normally be 2d8, you roll 4d8.
Okay, so it's 4d8 plus 4. So 22 points of damage.
Nice.
And then he gets to roll for the bite.
He also took 3 points of acid damage himself for that successful claw attack.
Okay, and it's a 26 to hit.
Okay, that'll hit.
Okay.
This creature is large, right?
It's huge.
Huge. Okay.
All right. $13 more points of damage.
Okay. And another 2 points of acid damage for Buster, which he gives him his extra claw attack. I
Okay.
hope that the stream is still working. If someone is watching the stream, can they confirm that the stream is still up? Because
It is.
XSplit is giving me repeated errors saying that the token is unauthorized. It's like the error I get when I'm trying to start it and I need to authorize the
I
token.
can see it.
Okay, I've never gotten it in the middle of a stream before though, so I'm not sure exactly what's happening. But in any case,
25 to hit.
okay, yeah.
And that's going to be another 9 points of damage.
Okay, and then another 3 points of damage for Buster.
Okay. All right, and that's Buster.
Did that last one not include his modifier? Because it looks like you rolled just 2d8 for that.
Yeah, it's 2d8 plus 4.
Okay, well, yeah, so, oh, yeah, never mind, you're right. Okay. So, all right, that's Buster's turn. Wuta, it is your turn.
All right, Wuta is going to use the last of his key points and cast Water Whip one more time. So a Dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Dexterity saving throw. That is 13. So I think that's
Oh,
probably a fail. Or is it? Just me?
Yeah, that's a fail.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so 3d10 damage first. So that's going to take 24 points of damage.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to.
Yeah, you're getting some good 3d10 rolls.
I am, yeah. And this time, instead of knocking it prone, I'm actually going to pull it right up against me.
Okay.
Zoom. There you go.
Yeah.
And-
I think that I just want us to all appreciate the visual of that a little bit because I think that would look pretty remarkable to the viewers that this flying humanoid sized owl person conjured a water whip that yanked this gigantic creature across the floor.
and then as my my bonus action, I'm going to cast Step of the Wind and disengage and fly over here to what's her name? Orion.
Oneira.
Oneira. Yes. Okay. And that's my turn.
Yeah. Okay, so it is Oneira's turn now, and here's the bad news. The good news, bad news. The good news, she seems to have recovered substantially in many respects. The bad news is that has led her to conclude that using her Dragonfire is the correct move at this time.
Oh, at least I'm behind
Yeah. You didn't realize, but that was exactly the right move. But we are now at this time going to need Buster and Zinhorn and the creature are all going to be making um, dexterity saving throws against Oneira's Dragonfire.
Okay. Um,
Rushama be with you all.
Yeah.
yep. All right.
It'll
I'm
be a glorious death.
rolling for Buster.
Ben is speaking from experience here.
Hmm.
Buster got a 12,
Okay, that's going to fail.
and Zinhorn got a 14.
Okay. Yeah, those are both going to fail. Uh, once again, Zaleen, Bane on saving throws, yes or no?
Yes.
It does. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it just succeeded in its save. The monster did. But we'll see how much it matters. Wow. Okay. Hang on 1 second. Boy, I'm still getting this error. It's kind of frustrating. It's nothing that anyone else needs to worry about except I want sympathy. Give me sympathy.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
crying and I feel sad because
gave
you're
us a
so
nightmare and
Horrible
you want
thing,
sympathy.
and we will harm it.
Like a crispy critter, two of us, but otherwise it's okay. It's all right.
Okay. So for Buster and Zinhorn, that's 74 fire damage.
Ooh.
For the monster here, it is 30. It is exactly the amount needed to kill it, even though it saved. So Oneira has
Oh.
destroyed her own nightmare and is triumphant about it, except that Zinhorn and Buster have just taken 74.
Yeah. Zinhorn is at Buster is at -1, and Zinhorn is worse than that.
Oh, so you're both unconscious.
Oh yeah.
74, right?
It just goes to 0. You don't have to do minus.
Yeah.
It just goes
Oh,
to
okay.
Unless
Yeah,
it's
I am at 0,
Okay. So
and Buster is at 0.
yeah, so I think all of the rest of you are looking on with awe and horror that this incredible dragon fire has just burned away this nightmare creature and also two of your friends. I mean, they're not ashes
Feel
or
that.
anything, but they are definitely unconscious, laying unmoving there on the ground up there. So that was Oneira's turn. Nedry, you're up.
It's sort of all right, you did it. And then the smoke clears. Oh no, you did it. There's literally, can he do anything there? Okay. Actually, he sort of can. I see Zinhorn is down, right? So let me just do a little quick check. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, okay. I think Nedry thinks that Zaleen is the secondary healer.
Mm-hmm.
So he will be flying over, and as he's flying over, he will trace his pen in the air once more, circle Zaleen, and put her right beside Zinhorn with another vortex warp.
Look, I was the bad cleric last campaign, okay?
So yeah, out of desperation, he will call out both vocally and in your mind, "Oh no, Zinhorn's down!" And it's this weird sort of cacophony where both voices, like the physical voice, probably arrives a half second behind the telepathic voice, as he proceeds to also fly over in the same direction, kind of paying no heed of anything at this point. And yeah, he'll get right there and then move Zaleen right there.
Okay. Just like that. Whoop.
Yep.
All right. So, Zaleen, that makes it now your turn.
Oh, I cast Prayer of Healing on them both.
Okay. So, wait, Prayer of Healing, I think, is that spell that takes longer to cast, correct?
Oh, it takes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm.
I didn't even see that. Okay, so I guess I will just
Well, I
I will
actually
just
want to
pass.
also, I want to just take just a moment to reflect here that Buster is not a player character.
Right.
Um,
So he dead now forever?
well, I'm not necessarily saying that, but what I am saying is that you think it needs more than just like 1 point of healing does not get him right back up.
Okay. So would
He
more than one? I mean, if I did like healing word on Buster, would he get back up, or does he need like
I needs a ritual.
a
um
ritual?
I yeah, I think that's yeah, I think that's kind of the what I have in mind here is not to directly call out any specific influences in this regard, but you think that Buster as a strange extraplanar creature that found itself drawn to Zinhorn in a certain way has found that in becoming incapacitated in this way is perhaps losing his connection to this plane and needs something intangible to hold him here.
Oh dear. I do still have that diamond that I was looking at earlier. I mean, I
Well, so
could.
yeah, so I think something tells you, the mistress of the dark tells you as you look at Buster, Zaleen, that something special is going to be required for Buster. He is not like going to be gone forever in 5 seconds, but that bringing him back is going to be more involved.
Okay. Um, I will be a responsible human and I will cast Healing Word on Zinhorn at level 3. So let me just roll that real quick. That's 9 points of healing. So now you're conscious. Um, and that was a bonus action. So now I'm just gonna I will try to cast Spare the Dying.
Okay.
Oh
Well,
no,
so
that's a bonus action too. Never mind.
well, so what I want to describe here is that Buster was certainly very, he was previously pretty beat up and had like these acid burns and now like covered with a lot of fire burns. But what I think is happening here is that you're watching as he almost looks like he's getting a little bit translucent or transparent in some way, like he's
Right.
fading. And Zinhorn, as Zaleen heals you and you come awake, you realize you hear the music again and you look over and you see Buster as though he is phasing out of this reality.
I am going to do. Uh, sorry, my thing is suddenly my mouse is not scrolling. Um, what the
Are you
is
trying to
going
scroll
on?
on the Zoom screen as opposed to on Roll20?
No, I'm trying to just scroll down to my channel divinity and call out to Rishama to please keep my friend here with me and heal him.
Mm-hmm. So I would like you to make a religion check as you call upon your deity.
Okay. I got an 8.
Yeah, you are finding that the feel of your connection to Rishama is feeling tenuous right now.
I will actually
You're
try to
not
do.
technically in initiative anymore, incidentally.
I'm going to try to do the same thing.
Okay.
I'm going to channel divinity
All right.
and try to see if I can draw the Mistress of the Dark to sort of like tether him to us so that he
Okay.
doesn't slip away.
All right. So, let's see a religion check from you. Wow.
25,
Okay. Yeah.
natural 20.
Okay. Yeah. So I think there's a moment for you, Zaleen, where everyone else seems to sort of have slowed down to almost stop, and like there's a magical sort of shadow has fallen over everything, and you hear the Mistress of the Dark in your head saying, "This creature comes from a place that was tainted by the same magic that took Zinhorn's family, and thus it is drawn to him. But the further you all stray from this place, the weaker his connection becomes. You may be able at this time to restore this connection, but if you do not pursue the resolution of the creature's purpose, you will lose him, and there will be nothing that can be done." But as you hear that, you do feel the magic kind of concentrating around you, and uh, Zinhorn, as you watch Zaleen kind of focus in prayer, all of a sudden Buster kind of smirks and snorts awake, and he is still pretty hurt, but he kind of blinks open his eyes, and he sort of belly crawls over to you and just puts his head on your shoulder.
I am going to give him a big hug, and then I am going to stand up and give Zaleen a big hug and wrap
That
my
was
wings around her and say, "Thank you so much."
Wow.
I'm not going to share with him yet what she said to me
Okay.
because it doesn't seem like the right time. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I will
There's
wait to share that with everybody else after we're sort of settled on what we're doing right now.
Uh, yeah, it's just as well because there's no time for talking because Oneira has approached at this time and is looking imperiously down and saying, "Well done. I feel myself again. You have done as you promised, and for that I grant you your lives."
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
so the theory holds. Thank you.
So I think I am actually going to call an early stop to the session tonight. I apologize for that, but I am dealing with a repeated technical issue that, while it doesn't seem to be interfering with the stream specifically, is extremely distracting for me trying to run a D&D session. So I hope you enjoyed this combat. We will return and find out what is next for the Pocket Protectors next week. For more D&D adventure on so many levels.
So many
So many
levels.
levels.
Levels.